Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on For the Sake of the Argument. Lori Goldman here. And our guest today is Eboni Taylor, who's running in the Senate District, Michigan Senate District number 3, which encompasses a lot of Detroit. And she's going to talk to us about what she's running on, what she stands for. Spoiler alert, she has endorsements from Congresswoman Tlaib and Senator Bernie Sanders. So that's pretty impressive. Anyway, listen today and tune in every week on For the Sake of the Argument. You can check us out on all social media platforms and know that I really appreciate it. Every once in a while, somebody comes up to me and says, I heard your podcast, Lori, and I really enjoyed it. I learned something. So that's important to me. Have a great day, and thanks again. Hey, Eboni Taylor, thank you for coming to For the Sake of the Argument today. You're candidate for Michigan Senate District number 3.
Yes.
You face a very crowded primary for the 3rd State Senate District. What are the biggest issues in this race as you see it? And what's your plan to break through all those competitors and get to the voters?
Absolutely, and thank y'all for having me on. It's really a pleasure. Yes, a super crowded primary is like a million people, too many people, or is that just enough? I don't know, but we'll see.
It's relative, I guess.
But no, so this district is huge, right? There are only 38 Senate districts in this state, and they cover around 200 to 250,000 people. This district encompasses mostly the east side of Detroit. It includes Highland Park. It includes Hamtramck. It includes a portion of the west side, most notably, Sherwood Forest, Palmer Park, Green Acres, University District. And so it's a huge swath, if you will, of the city of Detroit. And I'm really excited about this district because it's one that I've grown up in my entire life. And it's also so diverse. So to answer your question around how I plan to or how I am very much so distanced from everyone else, I am the only candidate that is for working families. I am not taking any APAC money. I'm not taking any APAC aligned money, not taking any corporate PAC money, any utilities money. And I don't know if that's true. We'll find out once the financial filings are available in July. But I am strictly going in as a working families candidate. And I think that means a lot because folks are tired of, I've recently heard, Democrats without a backbone. They're tired of Democrats, corporate Democrats. I am not going to Lansing to, on this campaign espouse all these working families' values and then go to Lansing and totally betray my people. That would be betraying my sons, my parents who are in their 70s, still living in the house I grew up in, and I refuse to do that. I am only doing this for the right reasons. I do not want to be the next Michigan political superstar. I'm not looking for a job. I didn't wake up one morning and say, oh, people know me, so they should vote for me, and I deserve this. I'm doing this because I know that I will stand 10 toes down for my community.
That's great to hear. And speaking of being a working mother,
Yes.
You brought your kids today.
I did. They are right outside this door.
Which I think is amazing because as women, mothers, we have to juggle a lot of different things.
We do.
And it's not easy and there's not always a lot of help. So kudos to you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought your kids. They're adorable.
Thank you.
You're running to replace State Senator Stephanie Chang.
Yeah.
And you've received her endorsement, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
How are you going to build on Stephanie Chang's work for the district if you're elected?
Absolutely. I mean, I get this, question all the time on doors and at community meetings. Stephanie has been a champion for so many wonderful things. I think people know her most notably for her championing environmental issues, but also she's championed great work for our justice impacted community too. So I would love to, just in thinking about what I would sort of take the baton and continue on, thinking about the Second Look Act, where folks, after 10 years, there's a process where we say, hey, let's look and see if they are actually changed people, if they've changed their ways, if there's a way to truly, let folks, be reunited with their families and get a second chance at life. And so that's one thing, as I think about this district, a lot of folks are justice impacted, and not only just those individuals, but also their families, their children, their parents, their siblings. And we've seen, so many folks come up to, myself and folks on this campaign trail asking what we plan to do in that regard. And I would love to lift up the work that Stephanie has done in that way and improve upon it in ways that we can.
Yeah, and bring it to the floor for a vote, which didn't happen, did it?
It didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
like that.
not to giggle there, but yeah,
No.
it is.
I know.
Yeah, it's so many things. Like running for office, if I could just say, it's just all encompassing, and it's like all the issues come at you at once, and it's the ones that impact families the deepest and the most viscerally. I really want to attack those issues, and that's one of them.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
According to Michigan Advance, DTE, I swear to God, I hate talking about these people every week because
Yeah.
nothing changes. DTE made, are you sitting down?
I am.
All right,
I
everybody
am.
else, you better
Barely.
sit down.
No.
Your bladder's gonna fail you when you hear this. Made $1.5 billion last year. That's made. All right, that's not spent, took in. They made $1.5 billion last year. And listen to this, they paid no federal income taxes
Yeah.
while still seeking approval for rate hikes on Michigan consumers. That's you, Mama.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's everybody. That's seniors. That's people just starting in their first jobs, all of them. What would you do to address DTE's abuses? And that's what they are. I think they're criminal abuses of our pocketbooks.
So you asked earlier, am I sitting down? I should have brought my DTE bill in here and asked you, are you sitting down? Because it's getting out of control. And I thought I was on like some sort of payment plan, but I don't know. Maybe I need to check in. But no, absolutely ridiculous. A few years back in 22, I want to say, I worked on a huge campaign that was called Defend Black Voters. And we stood outside. This was just one thing that we did, but we stood outside of DTE protesting this very thing. We were actually looking at all of the financial contributions that corporations like DTE and others in the state of Michigan have made to the Republican Party. Essentially, back then it was all
And the Democrats.
and the Democrats too, but majority to the Republicans. And it was all about quelling and disenfranchising black votes. And so we were going around to universities actually saying like, hey, can you hold these vendors accountable because they're bad actors? And so I think that there's a way, and please give our team more time to think through this, but I think that there's a way to maybe, I don't know how, but to undercut, if it's not by way of like getting agreement on the side of the government, I don't know, but there has to be a way to undercut some of these profits, maybe going after their partners, going after bigger partnerships of theirs. But it just feels like we need an entirely radical way of approaching this DTE issue, because one of the things that I'm thinking about in terms of becoming this district's next state senator is holding the line for the state of Michigan. And the fact that they haven't paid any federal taxes is a huge problem. So if it's not going to come by way of, our federal government, how are we holding the line here at the state of Michigan level? And that's something that I want to continue to think about. And I think there are a lot of creative ways that we could approach this with, but there's no panacea for this, but I want to figure it out. Hopefully that means something here.
I hope so, and I hope there is a way. What is it called? The Public Service Commission? Is that what it's
Yes.
called? So that those people, I don't know if there's 3 or 4, they are the people, the panel that
Yeah.
the Consumers Energy and DTE come before to petition for their rate hikes. So they're the ones that say yay or nay. They're appointed by whatever governor is in power.
Yes.
So the panel that's in now was appointed by Governor Whitmer. And I don't know, have they ever said no to a rate hike?
This particular panel hasn't, as far as I've seen, but back when, again, I helped to lead the Defend Black Voters campaign, we did have them deny DTE one of those rate hikes. And I think that there's always the things like, they're the things that we know how to do. I will say, to be clear, we should continue those things, but we should do something more. We should have a more radical approach. So I did show up to those meetings back in, I want to say 22 or 23, with a whole host of folks, people who were angry, right? And we have to continue to do those things because it is possible for them to deny DTE. And
yeah,
they must.
it is, but you have to ask yourself, why would this panel not? What's in it for them, right? Because as a person, why would you just let the rate hikes go and no taxes being paid, people struggling?
Yeah.
You know, I'm sick and tired of people. Maybe there's something you can do. You're going to be on a commission like this. Maybe you can't go to work for DTE after your position is over for 10 years. Maybe we take away the incentive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And these panels are too supposed to be representative. If I'm thinking about this correctly, please, interject if I'm wrong. I think they're supposed to be neutral.
Nobody's neutral.
Right. Nobody's neutral. But I think that there's an approach even there too, like not so much even after, but before they even arrive to these panels, like how are we assessing their ability to approve or deny rate hikes in the first place.
Well, related to DTE is the proliferation of data centers. That's all we're hearing about now, all we're having sleepless nights over. If elected, what would you do to protect Detroiters from the negative impacts of data centers?
It's pretty simple for me. We need to halt all data center creation, building, procurement, all the things until we can figure out all the things that are related to building these things and how they impact communities, how they impact the environment and the ecological structure of wherever they're trying to build. For the life of me, I do not understand how whole communities stand up in some of these town halls that I watch or at city council meetings or whatever meetings, and they're just completely ignored by their local or state government. That is not at all, obviously how I would want to treat taxpayers, treat our children, treat our future. So I would say absolutely a moratorium on any future building of data centers. And honestly, I think there's a larger conversation around AI and the future of AI and how it impacts us and just like the need for data centers, not just so much like, these one-off conversations about where they're built. I think there's a much larger conversation. But for now, we need to halt all data center building until we can adequately assess the impacts that they're having on whole communities. And they are. We're seeing them across the country. Brown drinking water, noise pollution, buzzing that doesn't stop ever.
Lowered property values.
Lower property values, animals that aren't nesting and aren't, they don't have a habitat anymore because of the vibrations in the ground and because of the sounds. And so I've already said this 3 times, but absolutely halting on any future developments for data centers.
And what I've found out recently is that you can't fight it. Your citizens don't want it. You vote against it. And then these entities have hundreds of millions of dollars to drag you through court. They could bankrupt a city, a township, a community. So, they're bitches.
Yeah.
In the end, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Again.
I feel like a little kid giggling after every time you curse.
Well, I can. There's 7 people, I think, that listen to me. So if they don't
No,
like
it's
it,
fine.
they know what to do.
Yeah, they know what to do.
Michigan has some big ticket races on the ballot in 2026, including Senate and governor.
Yeah.
As if you didn't know. What is your hope for the progressive movement this year, and what should be the predominant message?
Well, I'm excited. I think I'm excited about my race, but I'm excited about this new cadre or generation of leadership because, like Stephanie and a few others who are current leaders, they can't do it by themselves. I think it takes, like I said, a new group of folks to come in and say, and put our feet down and say enough is enough. the prevailing message that I would love for a progressive. I try not to box myself, but because all of what I talk about, I think is just common sense. But
Yeah.
anyway, we know common sense is not so common. But the prevailing message I would say is just putting working families first. And is that too much to ask? I mean, we pay our taxes, we do what we're supposed to do, and corporations have just run amok. Like I said, I think when we were offline earlier, I talked about being on the doors, and people are tired of corporate Democrats. They're tired of people coming to their door. It messes me up as a first-time candidate to knock on your door and you say, "Oh, you're just part of the same problem and part of," and I'm not, right? I do absolutely. One thing I love about Senator Chang is that she's been the same person. Her and I have been friends for a long time. She's the same person that she was when she went in, and she's the same person that she's on her way out. And that's who I want to be. And I think she's a great example of that. But working families first. I think that it's high time that we actually move policies. We had a trifecta, and we didn't get things like paid leave done. We didn't get other things done that would have catapulted working families into
$15 wage
Yeah.
for servers. Yeah.
wages. I mean, the list literally goes on. And it's high time that we can't make everything happen, because I will not be the person to overpromise, but we do need to make some real substantial things happen for working families, period. End of story.
Yeah, because there's no them without us.
There's no them without us.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. What's the best part in your mind of living and working in Detroit to you?
Oh my gosh. We just had Juneteenth weekend, but Juneteenth, was on Friday. I mean, Detroit, I think I saw an article that said Juneteenth every day. Detroit, so much I can say in this moment. So we had Juneteenth. I was at a park with a woman who is a transplant. She's not from Detroit. She was like, you know what? I had so many thoughts about how Detroit would be moving here, and some of them, most of them, she said, were negative. She said, I am totally wrong. I love Detroit so much. It's the people. And I have always said this wherever I go, and I travel a lot. And people, when they hear I'm from Detroit, it's always like, the question is like, have you seen something, fill in the blank, negative happen? And I'm like, oh, so that lets me know you've never even visited Detroit. You've never even been to Detroit. Detroit is one of the greatest, most beautiful, blackest cities in this country. And I love even...
And vibrant, yes.
And vibrant. So I love working, showing the city off to my 8 and 9-year-old, who obviously have plenty of time in their future, but I just love showing them some of my favorite things. We go around the restaurants. The food scene is amazing here. I mean, I can just go on and on, literally go on and on, but it's one of the most beautiful, blackest cities, and the people are kind. The people are beautiful. And that's what makes Detroit, regardless of legacy Detroiters or Detroiters on the comeback. I actually really kind of don't like that, because Detroit has always been here because it's in the heart of the people.
I know. I sell real estate, and I work with young women, single mothers in Detroit, women of color, that are trying to find affordable leases because there's no way they can afford to buy a house.
Yeah.
It's not set up that way.
Yeah.
And they are some of my most amazing experiences.
Yeah.
They are amazing to work with. They are willing to search for something that works for them and their family in an economy that doesn't offer a lot for them to choose from.
Yeah.
And then I sometimes then have to work with, white suburbanites that are looking for a lease. And, they want to make sure that the backsplash has their color scheme, right? So, I mean, it's just
What
a
a difference.
dichotomy.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the hardships that women everywhere, regardless of color, experience, and especially single women with children. So Detroit has been nothing but a welcome mat in my experience ever since I grew up as a little girl down the street in Ecorse.
Yeah.
So I love it dearly.
Yeah.
Until now, your electoral work has been mostly behind the scenes. How has that, and you can tell us a little bit about it, prepared you for representing Senate District 3?
A lot of my work has been behind the scenes, and it feels weird being on the other side as a candidate. But it has prepared me just in thinking about some of the let's just say, hurdles of running, not just running, but running as a woman, not just running as a woman, but running as a Black woman. People are like, run, you should do it. And then you say, finally, after 5 or 6 times, sure, I'll do it. And then it's crickets when the dollars, where's the money? Where are the resources? And I've thankfully received a number of wonderful endorsements, and I thank all of my endorsers out there listening. But it's still just so hard to raise money as compared to my white counterparts, right? And we see that, and I see that on my day-to-day job, my 9 to 5, if you will. I work with Black women candidates all across the country, and the probably top 2 things are raising money, especially if their opponent looks, as the complete opposite in terms of how they look, right? Is raising money, and then is having campaign staff that actually do things in their voice, that actually disseminate comms or whatever the thing might be according to who they are and their authentic selves. So coming into this race, I knew that I had to sort of stand apart. One of my bigger things was like the look and the feel of this campaign. My logo is I don't think I've ever talked about this publicly, but my logo is lowercase, just so it feels very like approachable and very
Public
grassroots.
servant, humility.
Yes, humility, right. That's what it's supposed to portray. And I think my team at first was like, why is she so, gung-ho about this logo and about the look of the field? Because I wanted this campaign and want this campaign to be approachable from all sides.
Speaking of endorsements,
Yeah.
this is incredible. You've been endorsed by progressives like Bernie Sanders
Yeah.
and Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah.
And of course, my organization, Femmes for Dems.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Of course. What do endorsements from people like Bernie and Rashida mean to you personally?
Personally, it means just like I talked about with working families, that you see my intention without me having to constantly do content or constantly, like it's seen through, actually, this. I just took a call from Congresswoman Tlaib just moments before this conversation, and I've knocked doors for her even when she was running for a state seat, when she was running for state rep, I believe. And so those people having known me directly or indirectly, as in the case with the U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders, but that somehow getting to him, the message of this campaign, making it all the way to him. I didn't fill out an endorsement questionnaire for his.
That's what's amazing.
Yeah,
that he sought you out and selected you.
Yeah, I didn't go seeking. I didn't fill out anything. And a lot of people were asking me that, like, oh, what, I filled this out, and I feel, and I was like, that wasn't my pathway to receiving the endorsement. And so personally, it just means so much. It means that working families are being seen, the agenda for working families is being seen, and it hopefully is being uplifted across this nation. We're seeing that from mayor's races to Congress to state seats. We're seeing working families' agendas and progressive, if we want to, continue, with that box. But we're seeing it being uplifted everywhere, and I'm excited about that.
And we say progressive, and it's a dirty word sometimes, but you know what? Change agents, people that want change.
Yeah.
And who's not up for change? Even me, an older woman, can stand change.
Listen, Democrats with a spine. I heard Erica from the People's Coalition, who's also an endorser, she used that language, and I said, you have to put that on a T-shirt, because Democrats with a spine, whatever we want to call it, but we're starting to see more of those folks emerge. And even if they have to be tapped a few times like I was, but they're emerging, and it's just, we need it. We need us en masse to get something done.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Eboni Taylor, thanks for being here today
Thank you
on For the
me.
Sake of the Argument, and you're running for Senate District 3.
Yes, thank you so
Good
much
luck.
for having me.
Of
Thank
course.
you.